So this is the Brookline grievance hearings for 2025. I'm on the listers. We have Mrs. Smith, the other lister, Hoonrant from, and we have Lisa and Michael O'Donnell is our first grievance. It is Thursday, May 15th, 9 o'clock, and we are. So what can we do for you today? Accuracy of the audit. So I'm going to put a list in as it's appeal for it. I'm not sure how much discussion there really needs to be because they're pretty straightforward. There's numbers that weren't accurate and things that weren't there.
From the looks of it, it would have made a lot of sense to do an interior inspection, things like cathedral ceilings. I don't know from the outside.
Which you came by in the fall and I offered because the house was a mess. And I said, yes, we met. I was outside. I talked about the sheds. And I said, you can come in, but the house is a mess because it was a very busy week. And you voiced your opinion that because we were under construction, you wanted to make that appointment in March in the spring to see how far we got on construction. So that never happened. We never got contacted again. We never saw you again. So I can see how there were guesses, but we were waiting and we were prepped, and I made the kids keep the house tidy all of March. You wanted to go back there to make sure it's tidy. So, but your opinion was that because we were under construction, you wanted to see how much got done.
Okay.
So we have to get here. There had to be some assumptions, so we were waiting for the second contact.
Gotcha.
Sorry, or might just got in from a 15-hour shift. I was asleep for 30 minutes.
I'm going to leave it up to the cluster. As to whether or not they want to take it written down here. Obviously, there could be some changes made based on what you're saying. Well, the 119 square feet of cathedral ceiling, 5 plumbing fixtures is 3 for 1 bathroom, commode, sink, shower, or tub, 1 for your water heater, and 1 for the sink in the kitchen.
Oh, no, the water heater was.
Yeah, I just want to explain it. You have downgraded your 0.8 on your residual land, which is the 13.2 acres other than their site. I think that incorporates the land that's underwater and the land surrounding the pond. But again, I'm gonna leave this up to the listers if they're down, and we can discuss the unfinished area. There are unfinished bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah, one is unfinished. The laundry room is unfinished, and the hallway, which you don't see a lot of room upstairs because my bad design. Is also unfinished. I mean, so the hallway has drywall, however, it doesn't have floors. So it's plywood.
So we have basically upstairs is just the 3 bedrooms that are usable.
I do apologize if it was my mistake, because my host say addition renovations will be complete by 1/25. And that came from a discussion that we had outside, because I was never inside the house. So I indicated that I wanted to come back.
Yeah, you indicated you wanted to come back. I have so voiced on it. We've been working on it for 13 years and probably wouldn't get much farther over the winter. I did not I thought it would be done. We can just enough pace.
Yeah. You've got a great location. It's a very nice house, but obviously it's a work in progress.
Yeah. But again, it's not. The progress started in 2010, and it was all a wood lot in 2010, so the house was not in my. Yeah, I know.
Oh, there is the trail. But not,
No, you do.
no. No, but the trailer part of 72, what we moved on to the property.
Oh, meaning that the trailer that was there was a 1972 trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably where the town got the 1972.
Foundation of the house, what do you mean?
Actually, it
Well,
had
that's
no
where-
foundation in 2010, it was just a long lot. So the foundation went in.
Well, we're going in pieces.
So we
The
haven't even
process
finished
started-
the piers yet.
The first piece of the foundation went in 2010. And then we finished the foundation work, what, 3 years ago?
But the center is still on piers, so you know, I mean, either finished or unfinished, I don't have the piers.
Started building the house.
Okay.
And then, so the piers have gone up. Was that it for you? This one, how it is.
Well, I mean, it's all kind of basic stuff.
Yep, extra square footage, question on fixtures, question on land, and.
And the house.
Incomplete, like there's no picture cabinets, there's no.
Yeah, I mean, if you went to our house, you'd see a rolling toolbox for. Yeah, just Home Depot stuff.
Let's see, again, it's on the social, like, who's your second story?
Yeah, this is.
Sixteen by, well, I just put that right there, that's 192 square feet, that's not there.
No. No.
That'll be correct.
So. Yeah. Yeah, so if you had to go, I mean, again, you know. I mean, I don't care, you want to go back and look at it tomorrow, I don't really care, you got nothing to hide, so. You would see a house that is very, very much unfinished. I mean, I saw. What was it, last year? Was the first time we didn't have insulation in our ceiling.
Beautiful.
So.
I think.
I'm sorry, there's another thing. Just so you know, there's no oil burner or propane burner for heat. It's a wood fire boiler in the basement. That's the main, it's hot water. It's for hot water. But, you know, there's no oil burner or propane. It's all wood. So,
The basement square footage was right, because there's no only one little section of house space. There's nothing, there's no other crawl space. I
right,
guess it's
yeah,
fine.
yes, so the basement only goes under,
It's in the range.
right,
The main
Yeah.
part of the house, 26 by 28.
yeah, yeah,
That's fine.
yeah, that's 500 square feet or something. Yeah, I saw that and I didn't. So,
There's the storage and the boiler. It's not conventional. Someday in the next 30 years.
so the physical depreciation is at a 39. What's that? What's that scale encompass?
Well, that's incorrect from the get-go because that's based on 1972 construction. Each year average, yours is a 2010. Then I put in fair average condition after we had looked at it just from the outside. So the physical depreciation will be less in fair average. Building. But the question is percent finish. And if the decision is made by the listers to reduce your percent finish, which is going to reduce your mechanically. We're gonna make a note on your property, somebody will come by before April 1st of next year and re-inspect to see exactly what's been done.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Yeah, and something will be finished, but I might have two pieces sided,
Mhm.
you know. Not,
Yeah.
you know, for something, yeah, every year there's a big push for like 3 months to get something done.
Yeah, yeah. But we've been doing it ourselves with a little help with friends and family, so. We're gonna do it at the end of the day, and then we try to build a house. But it's
Yeah, so, and just, you know, all but maybe 4 windows. 1, 2, 3, 5 windows have actual 6, 7, 8. Yeah, none of the 34 windows have actual window trimming. It's a little bit different. The staircase is yet to be finished.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just construction credits. So
yeah.
we get really beautiful treads down blue and out for us, but I won't dare put them on without until I'm done. All the sheet rock and everything else up and down the stairs. So, you know, so we're still living in the construction zone, very much so.
And then again, yeah. At the time of the reappraisal. And if somebody would, if you were to put your house on the market right now, somebody would look at it and say, well, God, we gotta do windows, we gotta do, et cetera, that would lower the opinion of the market value. That's what we're trying to achieve. So we're putting your-
Yeah. Oh, and the ceiling, the part of the ceiling in the kitchen, there's about 10 feet of that still unfinished. And if you wanted to,
Yeah.
again, this is all stuff you guys, the last piece of mark.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
No,
I would go and re-inspect it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We would come in at the end of this year. Yes, it's pretty much just a wonderful business.
I don't know. This is it, really. Even the basement's not finished at all. There's no finished work on the basement. It's all rough.
Yeah.
I apologize, we've been digging all the material, we did not see that there was a chance for re-inspection during those 2 weeks. We were both unfortunately could not get out of our commitments the day of the information hearing, so.
Yeah, there's a way on the road, so I couldn't even be here.
This is Brookline, pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
And we're treating
Yeah.
kind of as, you know.
Okay.
But. We're very used to it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's really it. I mean, I don't know, you know, obviously you guys can see from the other pictures, only part of the house is provided,
Yeah.
you know, so. The roof is all done, nothing remaining left on the roof. No, I think that's about it.
You guys have any further questions?
I don't think so. Was there anything else that we didn't go over that? We brought up?
Other than
Just
like,
to make sure we went over it all.
I think everything was in the Grievance review report, just the kitchen cabinets. Yeah, that still looks like that. In the winter. But yeah, we exciting.
I didn't find a strong point.
Yeah, like there's no kitchen cabinetry as far as like a finished kitchen would be from a woman's standpoint. It works very well, a lot of touches and things like that, but as far as resale value, when somebody would go to buy the house, they would be like. And I'll let her fridge, that's the kitchen, you know.
So,
Yeah.
so as far as the kitchen is concerned, what's going to be looking at? Formal cabinets. And. Well, you know, when you're $10,000-15,000 in kitchen cabinets, it's a little impressive at times. So what we did was, Alicia goes, oh, well, that toolbox would work. So I bought a rolling toolbox with the bamboo countertop.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Good.
Oh, look at that.
And the cabinets go in, so you get the roll.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Greenhouse. Yeah, it's really. any situation in her house, and I said, that's a clever picture.
It's fading, it really does.
So that, when I went to put in the kitchen countertop, I thought, well, why not make it that? So I went to Home Depot and got the matching workbench with
Yeah,
the new counter.
it's, you're seeing kitchen countertop, but the reality is,
It's a workbench.
it's sort of horrible kind of a stick. You
Yeah, I can't.
I leave the toolbox. Like from a big improvement standpoint like that, if you were talking about retail value, people don't need to look at buying.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people with my, our, Home Depot.
They would be chance to, you'd probably take that with you.
Extra.
I think we're probably.
Yeah, no, I think that's about what we've done. And stupid, when I should have had pictures with me, I just never really thought about it. I just kind of figured with all of this to maybe just try to check out, come and take a look. But if you want to come out next week, want to take a look?
Yeah, it's over spring.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Spring in March or something.
Just to see, so we will discuss this and make whatever changes we can. I did. Weeks, you have 2 weeks to, I'm sorry, within 1 week, you have 2 weeks to, decide whether or not. This values, if you do, you can respond and it'll go to the BCA. And, present your case there. After that, they will make a decision.
Okay, and did you want, in that 1 week, do you want us to try and email you some pictures of these things?
I don't think they're necessary. Just go through whether. I have a visual. I remember the house being like constructed for years and the teenager and I'm like, I keep that.
It's a beautiful, wonderful process and the kids will learn a lot. I mean, and to do. So I'm glad that we live in an area that still allows for a lot of these things to be not
So, actually, real quick,
confused with red
real
tape.
quick question. With the land, it says, where's that?
Roll the picture?
Yeah.
It's only about 32 times I could not find it. That's not what you did. I'm very sorry. Oh, thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I just have-
No, I'm glad I have this right there. Perfect.
So,
Please.
The teenage boy filing system when they're helping figure out. That is. Gotta work on that.
so how is land, appraised? It's, I believe, is there another page? Oh, so, anyway, it said like land was 0.8. It was something else was a 1.0. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Lens to the house site value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is site.
Mhm.
And that is valued at 1.0. The residual acreage, the remaining acreage, it's lower to a 0.8 because of the wetlands involved. Otherwise, it would be also a 1.0, command a little bit more value.
So is 1.0 like the top of the scale?
No.
No. No, what's
Is basically typically average.
okay. And then,
Because it goes way up. And it goes way down.
Depending upon privacy, depending upon view. And it's all not big, it's not a view tax, it's based on marketability. You're gonna pay more for a property on the top of a mountain where you have 270 view. That's where you're gonna want to have your coffee in the morning.
Right.
Not drive down to the store.
Yeah, now, was there any adjustment for it being a private road? Being that we're living on a private road and town amenities don't, like, you know, as far as snow plowing and stuff, they don't reach us.
There is a lot of town roads, you know, that are worse shape than yours. And so, I mean, it plays into it, but because there are so many unpaved roads in Brookline, it's not unusual.
As far as like buying a house, if someone wants to buy it, they have to pay for their own plowing for the mile. It's for the mile, we have to do all of it. All we have to do. The neighbor owns the dump truck, so there's a lot that most people, if they bought something on a roadway, would have all that taken care of. There's a lot of expenses in maintaining and keeping your own road and being able to get your stuff in and out in the winter, owning your own plow trucks and things like that, or paying
I
somebody.
mean, usually for all of us, it's about $3,000 to $6,000 a year in gravel. No, every 2 years, And then, you know, obviously, you know, buying a plow truck and then update or upkeep on your plow truck and stuff to keep things going.
And they were,
So-
they were pleased together,
You know,
plow truck, and we bought the road grader and the plow truck. And everybody tries to share, and somebody else has a backhoe, but we,
yeah,
you know, it's,
So I was-
you pretty much have to have your own town road.
and you know, I don't know, I always kind of wondered when you have a private road. I mean, at one time it was a town road. Long time ago, you know, we didn't check roads.
Yeah.
It's not that it's flat on flat. So
Yeah.
it's still a town road when you first turn on the Papoose Lane and
Yeah.
stops at Sandy Sherman's house. And I can't remember what house number she is. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. And I'm all in the town maintained and the rest of us all. So like when our neighbor moved in down the way, they had no idea what it meant. They bought the house and no one told them that there would be no maintenance or no plowing. They never told them and they were like, well, how do we get out? When the contractor replaced it, we had to be ready for. You know, it was even gonna have a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of expense incurred on maintaining. That's what I'm doing it. You know,
That's great.
Yeah.
So, all things for me,
Yeah.
I just checked.
Yeah, I just always kind of wondered if that factors into.
The only other question. Yeah. Chip in. But did all of Brookline, like, it seemed like everybody increased so much. Did there's something going in nearby that's raising? I don't know, it's the 1.9.
So all of the values, all of everything in the system was valued at these and so, you know, the increase in prices and supplies and everything, and, you know, the recent sales have gone up since, you know, especially since, and everything has been going up. But, you know, in the software systems. So that's why we have to sort of bring things up to fair market value.
Right.
And that's true of all the towns in it's gonna be every 6 years now, it's the legislatures and stuff. And there are other towns that are, that have many times also, and we haven't had. So, if you do a reappraisal, everything's done.
Yeah, I mean, you expect that. You know, you expect to see. I mean, obviously, we knew we were worth 98,000.
Yeah, we're not gonna be.
Yeah, right. You know, but then, you know, a lot of people had some severe sticker shock. But which, so when you talk about, because it goes back to 3 years for the reappraisal, correct? No, but I mean, like when you look at doing reappraisal, people look at. You know,
It's
right, Wouldn't a lot of those sales have been artificially inflated because of the pandemic, because people were so anxious to get out of the cities, it was just like.
You would think so, but it really didn't turn out. Yeah, even before the pandemic, prices were, I mean, things were selling for a lot higher than you'd imagine. I mean, it's, yeah, it was high time. Right.
There was a article that came out last week. About real estate across the country finally leveling out and sales dropping. Not monetarily, but dropping as far as activity. I called two realtors, one because I wanted to have her over to dinner. I just bought a house, two houses actually in Venice. So I called the realtor, and another realtor, and asked about what their opinion is about the market in the last 6 months. Also was crucial in my selling my house in Baltimore a lot. And she said, take a look at what happened with your house. Well, I showed the house in January. I don't care in Baltimore at all. Smaller than Brookline, no painting. And showing the house in January is just not a good thing to do.
No.
The limit showings and what three offers, move away and asking for those. That's what's going on with the market.
Yeah,
in Vermont.
and some people just paying cash.
Yeah.
But artificial, it's hard to say, you know, we said the same thing, you know, after 9/11. People from. One home or get a second home in more rural areas, so we were afraid about what was happening.
And I was living in Paula immediately thereafter, and I just remember that whole debate when some people came in, they came 30% above what the property was worth. All of a sudden, everybody was like ready to.
We got sales for several, 3 or 4 times what the assessed value was.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's hard to say if it's artificial because it's what's selling. I mean, it's they're arm's length transactions. It's not between members of the family or because of divorces or anything like that. They are, they're valid sales.
This is what people think that property is worth in that.
It's hard to, from the moral standpoint, where these people who haven't had any improvements to their homes and they're on a fixed income, their income's not gonna change. Are they getting gouged out? Like, I mean, if they wanted to sell, that would be good, but then you'd have an appraisal done when you want to sell your home for the bank. But like, as far as taxes go, but our rate for the whole town is gonna go up, like.
It's going to be at 1%. Exactly at 1, which is where you want. You want it to be at fair market value, right? Because that's what everybody wants, is they want to pay taxes on what their house is actually worth. And so this is really the only way to do it. Now, as time goes on, things will get out of whack again, and the CLA will go up and down. But the best that we can do is to get everything at fair market value. It's got to be through a townwide reappraisal. Is really, I mean, I don't know of any other way to do it.
No, it's just. I just thought another, so the school reopening.
Yeah.
It's upgrading.
It's 75 to 80% is the education tax. So
We can get into that, but that would be a whole nother.
So quickly, there's a lot of homes here. When I was on Zillow looking at stuff, it's sitting for 6, 8. There's one house that's a couple years, and that's all new thing. Brookline doesn't have a lot of inventory right now. And I'm sure it goes up pretty quick. But in new things, there is a lot of
Southern Vermont places that I've been looking, look around every once in a while is things move pretty quickly. I don't know if they're necessarily going for asking price.
well, Yeah, I know like Tommy Brooks,
Yeah.
his mother's house, that was on the market for close to a year.
Um,
That's what it is, you know, that's people
Did he
asking,
finally get it sold or did he give up?
no, he sold it, yeah. But, well,
Yeah.
they didn't get a lot of work. Then there's one up on Stratton Hill, I think that's been on the market for a year or two. And that one that was appraised at 5 something and they have it for 259. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's all subjective, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, there's probably something bad happening on that property that they have to go over. But anyway, and then there was like one on Baker Brook. Looks like a nice little house, that one's been sitting for a long time. Yeah, yeah.
You need to recollect the items.
Yeah, that's much better. Then, I think we're now at home, there's one in Jamaica.
I saw a few pictures of this.
Yeah.
Yes, please, thank you. I'm sure eventually it will turn out.
So, have you guys had any,
Yeah, I look. I'm starting for this, so that's good. I like, I'm the type A's.
yeah,
Usually have them diet, let's say. It's very rare, but it is does happen, which is fantastic. They volunteer to the kitchen table.
so,
And then you. That's right, you can let it go.
so if you guys want any kind of further proof, just feel free to spend by or just ask us for pictures.
Look forward to something in March.
That's terrible. It doesn't need to be tidy. And then something that makes me feel bad about my house being such a mess, so I think. You know?
Thank you very much for your.
Nice to meet you again. You too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, good heavens, yes. We are pausing recording, so. This is the Brookline grievance hearings on May 15th. It is about almost 9:45. This is I'm Helen Holt, one of the listers. We have Elizabeth Smith is another lister, Al Coonrant from Limerick, and this is Garland Carlson. And it is we are ready to go. What can we do for you today?
I'm familiar with this process and I see what I've been tracking about for 10 years. I don't know, so as my friend was very close to the time was that good. I'm having a really hard time swallowing the fact that my assessment has tripled. So I don't know if you're familiar at all with my road. And I'm really sorry that Transit isn't here because when I came to record my deed, he literally held my hand and said, "Are you okay?" That's how bad the road is. The woman who used to live in my house left because of the people that live on my road. So in case you're not familiar, this is what's next door to me, which is partially on my property. And you're telling me my house is worth $285,000. You're also showing it as a bedroom. And that's not even like, that's not considering the 30 to 50 rusted out cars that are 2 houses away from me. I understand that Brookline doesn't have a building code, so it was kind of difficult for me to obtain information as to what constitutes a bedroom. I'm assuming you're considering the loft the second bedroom. The loft is subflooring. There's no floor, there's no walls, there's no dedicated heat source. Nobody has slept in there since Laura left, and Laura slept in there because her mother was in the other bedroom after Laura got sick, her mother got sick. And submitting pictures also, that's the subfloor that's upstairs. That's also the ceiling of the cabin. The entire ceiling looks like that. It leaves off. Part of that roof has been on there since 1989. I had anywhere from 7 to 10 leaks every single time it rains. You can see the ceiling falling apart because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know my bedroom scale. You have to feel before 2007. By statute, you go to starter. Your septic system will be grandfathered for a 2-bedroom house. If it's listed as 2-bedroom care. If it's listed as 1-bedroom, it's no different value wise, by square foot. I could put 10 bedrooms, I could put 0 bedrooms here. Value would be the same.
Okay.
But my recommendation to you, if you ever go to sell it, would be keep 2 bedrooms on record.
I'm not gonna be selling that house. That house will go directly to my daughter.
I don't think it was just whatever you want. If you want to change from 1-bedroom on record, that's fine. I feel it's my obligation to tell you that.
No, I appreciate that. I wasn't aware that it goes by the grade of the septic system. It's really difficult for me to show you. There's a shed that was under the deck. They have put pictures of that here that completely fell apart and actually busted in my basement door, which let my cat out. Whole long story, but there's a 15 to 20 foot drop right behind my house for the land. So that whole strip in essence is unusable. I haven't been able to afford to clean the backyard out yet, so the backyard literally hasn't been touched in probably 15 years. And it needs to be because there's saplings growing on top of the leach field. But at this point, that land is in essence unusable. This is a better picture of the shed that fell apart, the retaining wall that's falling down, the patched roof that is still not working. There's algae that is built in the second basement because of the leaking. And that's part of a chimney that's fallen off. This is also, so my husband is deceased, but the woman who lived in the house prior to us was a relative of his. So I know from just speaking to her what she went through trying to sell it, mostly because of the neighbors and the condition of that road, which is ridiculous. I can't afford to do any differently, so that's where I'll end up dying, but this is partial history of trying to sell the home for years. It couldn't be sold. And maybe I'm mistaken, but I think you're probably also taking into consideration the sales prices during COVID. I worked in a real estate office during COVID, so if you're not familiar, houses were going for anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 over asking price, cash, no inspections. So I find that really unfair because nobody's gonna pound that door down to buy that house ever. I did submit some examples when I emailed, but, and I'm aware this is Putney, but it's really difficult to find anything that's sold. So this is comparable to mine as far as I can see. It's a 1-bedroom, 1,300 square feet, 0.73 acres. And it was sold in 2025 for $145. I'm sorry, 145,000. This was also sold in Brookline in 2025. 3-bedroom, 2,000 square feet on 12 acres. This is 300,000. So you're saying mine worth 285.
Oh, is this an Athens?
According to that, it's Brookline.
Brookline Road.
I thought Grassy Brook turns into Brookline Road. Okay, well, again, it wasn't exactly a simple thing trying to find.
But here are the recent sales in the past, few years, you can find, if you want, you can see that.
Mm,
See, or we can print out a sheet of them too, and you can compare the values based on the 2008 reappraisal and what they're selling for.
So this is right down the road from me.
Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah, please.
So it's 130,000.
Uh-huh.
And I also feel that it should be taken into consideration that my road only gets plowed if and when my neighbor feels like it. There is no road maintenance. I don't get mail delivery. I don't get trash service. I'm paying anywhere between $300 and $500 a year just to get rid of my trash. I can't trust my neighbors, so I can't put the mailbox down at the end of the road because if I get packages delivered, they're gonna disappear because my neighbors are insane. So I have to take a post office box. Their pets are consistently on my property.
Have you, tried to speak to the dog warden about that, or?
There's no point because the gentleman who lives next door to me
Yeah,
is mentally unstable.
yeah,
So when he's not taking his medication,
yeah.
his radio is going literally 24/7. All you can hear is bass thumping, and you don't have sleep. It's like the next day. He has to release at that point. Like once he's off his medication, there's no communication. And then my alternative is, sure, I can call the police, I can call the dog warden, but I have to live next to these people.
Yeah,
So the woman who lived there before me, her dog mysteriously died when she complained. There's also, I don't know if you're aware, there was an illegal outhouse on his property because people have been squatting there for the last 5 years. I don't know if it was the health department, somebody came to his house because the people that are on Grassy Brook complained because the illegal outhouse from his squatters ended up leaking.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um. But yeah, I wish I could convey this in a more eloquent manner, but to say that that cabin is worth $285,000. I'm just having a really, really, really hard time.
Sounds to me like if you could sell it for 285, you wouldn't hardly do a better neighborhood.
I would, but that's impossible, and that is the whole point. It's sat there, like I said, it's more than 10 years. I think she originally started to try and sell it in 2010. I bought it in 2018.
Yeah.
And that's only because it was a family.
The market was.
It was a family sale. I paid her 70,000 cash and then I paid off what was left of the mortgage. So I literally paid exactly what it was assessed at. And that was years later.
Yeah.
I get like people say, no, it's a log cabin, but it's on that road. And it's not all cabin, it's part stick, so.
Well, there are presenting listers, good deal of information for them to think about. And you look in the mail within a week, you get notification whether or not your value is changing. And the amount will change, or whether it's going to stay the same. And you have the ability to receive that letter within 2 weeks from tomorrow. Sign up for board of civil authority here, and I'm sure you're very familiar with that. Things to consider about. Thank you very much for doing the research and providing the information you provided.
Thank you. Thank you. We are going to stop recording. This is the Brookline Grievance hearings on May 15th. It is about 10:28. I'm Helen Holt, one of the listers. Alyssa Smith is here. Here's the other lister, and we have Al Coonrad. And then with us today is Patrick and Marsha Corrigan. Want to come in and have a seat? Yeah, it's not here, please.
Oh my God. Yeah, probably the morning I had, so like I said, it's just more so unofficial, oh my gosh. I'm battling the homestead act as it is. When I did my taxes, I'm 100% disabled vet. And I get paid from the government for that, it's not taxable, and it's not considered income. Well, the homestead act said non-taxable income is counted. But by counting that, you just talk to my income is what gets taxed. Is my income will go up because of that. And that's what they're saying. And I said, if you can't use that and it says that from the government, you can't do that. So I was fighting that and then seeing my house go up like it did. I'm not gonna be able to pay any of this. Holy cow. I mean, the homestead has nothing to do with you guys, except it comes down to the town when I go to pay the taxes. That homestead act gets adjusted by my income. But I'm saying, oh yeah, that's taxable. Oh no, it's not. And it's, I mean, we're not rich by any stretch, but it does help me get through the day. I mean, so, but it's a non-taxable income. My tax guy, I couldn't get through his head that, and I showed him in black and white. So I've been on the phone with the state of money, the homestead area. And I mailed everything up to them that I have online. I also contacted the state VA rep. They also contacted, and they've also got a bill that's not just for your requirements, it's also for people like myself, 100% that get disability that's military paid, it's not taxed. That's also part of the bill. And Scott is supposedly working on it. So but they hit me, and then when I see the house plan.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody in the house. We need to come out and say, what's up? What do we say? Never been waiting for anything. So I just like, holy cow, this is gonna be good. So now you're up.
So I would also look through and do comparisons, which is really difficult to do. I don't know any of these people, I don't know any of these properties. So I did, I went through, so what I looked at was specifically even if it had 0.50 acres, which is what we have, which is small, not very big. And so I have like 4 properties. Whether they're comparable or not, I can't say my house is better compared to it was better than mine. Not my judgment. But they're all like, I think the highest one was 244. And that was the highest at that. And then we were at, what's our new, hang on a second here. So our new estimate is 307. So more than $50,000 more than anybody else that actually more than 50,000. Well, you know what I'm saying. So that was the only comparison that I could come up with.
Do you have any compliments for me right now?
And like you said, I don't know if the houses are better or I don't know how to put it.
It's just a combination of everything.
And you did get the $40,000.
Yeah.
If I could give you a award of you went up 76%, the average. Much higher than that.
Okay.
Because it hasn't done that. What you know, the real life hasn't done that. So empirically speaking, if everybody is up at 90%, you're only up at 76%, you'll pay less taxes. That's empirically speaking. That is not based on what the good governor is gonna do with the education tax rate. That's not based on what the municipal tax rate is going to do. But that big increase that you saw in your assessed value isn't as big as some others, which sales for out. I mean, sales, that look right there, bear out that Brookline values have gone up, especially in the last 4 years. I just thought I'd put that out there. I'm gonna look, see what we have to.
You said you may look at this and go, they're not comparable, and that's fine. Like I said, it's not my judgment to say.
Well, the first one, for example.
Yeah.
You can see.
You did see that.
Much lower quality house in there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just looking at that and the number I have about is much deferred maintenance, which means it's not nearly as well maintained a condition of the property. That's why it's
Lower.
depressed value wise. Also the square footage, 1176 square feet, you probably already know, this. 100 square feet.
Less than mine, right? Yeah.
I mean, we'll look at the other ones as well, but this is where my point.
That's.
I was just one of those, like I say, I didn't want to have it go.
Oh,
you can say that when you have a chance.
Everything's giving you lunch.
So I figured I needed to come in at least like an hour or a night.
Thank you for your service. Well, Brett.
Maybe.
Thanks.
That just blew me away. Like I said, that tax guy, it's not taxable. It is, it's something that happens. There is a service. That's like, what are you saying? It's not taxable. It is according to the whole stat.
Was that this year?
Yes.
And you don't know, because when you look on the tax form, when you're filling it out.
Yeah.
Maybe the very last word is not taxable income. That's exactly what he pointed out. He said, I have to by law do that. Well, no, you're looking at me, remember? There's no, I looked at my phone. I think it's frustrating, really, that's smart.
Yeah.
So I did one guy on the phone with the guy at the homestead office. And
Yeah.
she said,
I mean, I'm looking at it's. People talk to the people that test.
she understood. She goes, I'm absolutely on your side. Send me everything and I will go to bat for you. So I'm positive.
Yeah.
But they just said it doesn't make sense. Why was he? Because you stay right there. You just put this out there. No, we need to look at that. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you'll even in the markets in that position. So,
Right. It's really about it. And you're aware of that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like so much. I don't like so much. I just didn't want to say, oh my God, geez, I'm thinking this thing happened. And the time will go by, and well, you had your shot.
Yeah. It's good to ask questions even and learn more about,
I knew we had to hear about us.
Yeah. So looking at the details of the structure of your house and property, the details.
It looked okay, yes. Were you the one I talked to on the?
No, I think it was a list. Yeah. We continue. I can't tell you, I know these people, it's not, it's okay.
Into it to verify everything, and I was like, I don't know what to do, so I emailed, I thought I emailed it to Tom, but I never heard anything back, and so whenever, it was a call. I was like, I can't get in there and verify that everything was correct, and so she told me where to go, and I was like, great. And so it did look, everything looked like it was okay. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, all the details, down to the rooms, size, and yeah, it didn't look like it was right. Yeah.
Okay, so.
I know it's not a home, but if you want to have a top of
So did the homestead declaration, I don't know if we've received yours yet. Did it go through yet? Did you get it?
Yeah, you'll get your whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I use that, it really helps.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And your taxes. Oh, we did? Okay, okay. And I know they let us know if you find it.
I just, I have social security, and I know that's a part, so I'm not disputing that. Because the amount of my disability payment
Yeah.
is a sizable amount, and if you add that to my income, well, now my.
Oh, yeah.
Tax rate
Okay,
goes
so
up.
see what you're doing. Right.
So that's why I'm like, well, I haven't seen anything yet, and they said they were gonna do it. I'm gonna, when I see the bill, if it's high, I'll be like, no, they didn't take it out. So now I'm like, because it's, ballpark where it should be, you know, if it's higher than it was last year, then I know they didn't take it out.
Yeah,
That's-
right.
Because that was not included last year, because most of it's not taxable. So that's, you know, I don't know if you. It's not your fault, but how am I can't afford to pay that. So you pay my, what the hell? What the heck am I supposed to do about that? It's like, I know that's out of your hands, but I'm supposed to.
You don't know what's happening, what the tax rate is yet. Right, okay.
It won't be set until after the grant list is completed.
Okay.
So we will go through the information that we've got in your there. If there's any changes, we can make it, notice within the next, week or so. If the government is still not, what you believe it should be, then we'll be able to. Grievance with the civil authority. And we have 2 weeks to decide that, notify them that we want to take it higher. If you're still not satisfied after the board still makes a decision, then we can take it. And so, so that's a process. We will hear from us. It's always good to come in, right? You got no. Yeah, right, absolutely.
Question off the hood. Oh, we didn't go anywhere, so don't be complaining. Well, wait a minute, we did go, so don't start with us. Well, thank you, time. Oh, God, it's one of those, oh my God, everything hit at once.
Right.
Let's take the first one.
Yeah. And I mean, also, like, everyone's values went up, so it doesn't. We don't know what's how it will affect taxes. And I noticed some went up more than others went up, and yeah. No, not no, I'm sure. There's a lot of people that are gonna be like,
But again, it's because, nothing has changed since 2008. Yeah, and it's prices have changed. I mean, everything has changed. Oh, no, it's, yeah. And so the serious problem won't be as drastic going forward because the speed is. So it will probably still change from that.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, one of those better command in other ways, you know.
Thank you for that.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Like,
Right.
you say something. So, well, then again,
Thank you so much.
Are you ready? I'm gonna stop recording. So this is the Brookline grievance hearings on Thursday, May 15th. I'm Helen Holt, one of the listers. We have Alyssa Smith, another lister. And then Congrats from Nemrick, and the grieving party here now is Marilyn Pearson. What can we do for you today?
And I checked with a couple of banks and stuff. So my thing is, my assessment is way too high because if I went to sell my house, no one is gonna give me a bank loan, no one's gonna give somebody a bank loan to buy my house. Basically because I don't have centralized heating. So even Farmers Home would not consider somebody I would have to update, I would have to do a bunch of updates to sell my house on the market. So basically, I'm looking at the centralized heating. I don't have any centralized heating. I have a 30-year-old roof. I have an electrical system that's still probably in the 60s. Plumbing is definitely in the 60s. And my siding has never been changed. It's been painted cedar siding, but behind it is a local board with no insulation. So I'm just saying that, I'm at what, 256 or something. And it's saying that, yeah, to 264. I'm still way above basics, because I mean, how am I gonna get rid of the house? If I wanted to sell it, I would have to get a loan to fix a whole bunch of stuff. To even, somebody just came in with some cash offer. Thing.
How do you keep your house?
Woodstone. So that's what I said before, the whole downstairs is not, there's no heating down there.
If you were going
So
to go to Florida for 2 weeks in January, how would you get your house?
I would have to have somebody come and babysit my Woodstone.
Okay.
Never go anywhere in the winter.
They see no remote heaters, nothing you can turn on, and
I have a small gas heater. It's just in the living room. So it's just basically if the temperature is below 0, you can have a little more heat. So
trust it to keep your house if you went to Florida for 2 weeks.
it couldn't do it because the plumbing is from the basement coming up.
Yeah.
I have curtains, I have insulated curtains that I hang everywhere. I have door jams, I have window. I did a lot of strange things in my house to keep it warm. And if you go grocery shopping, you can't go anywhere in the winter to be gone for more than 6 hours. So yeah, I have nothing for backup. So basically, I don't know. I don't really know what other houses go for, so I'm gonna ask if you had. Comparison things to other homes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah.
Those are sales within the last 3 years.
Yeah. I'm sure most of them have heating. No, no. I can help with still. I can find nothing. Wait. You're not really. That's. Yeah.
Did you at one point have electric baseboard heating?
When my partner bought the house, when he first bought the house, but he got Farmers Home loan. And that's how he got his house through Farmers Home. It had electric baseboard heating. none of that is in existence anymore. They cannot use that. That would burn the house down. It's actually totally shut off from the whole, electrical box. It's not been disconnected from the building, but it's, disconnected from the box itself. So even if somebody hit the door or something, it would not automatic. You know what I mean? It wouldn't come on. That is one of the reasons that we got the house is because of that. He's plumbing fixtures for years and me, but it's one of the sinks, toilets, showers, okay.
Says your name, your name. So, but I mean. It was a May. Transfer October, the day before the.
It's, yeah, I don't know that much about houses, it's just, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was just my assistant to it, and I know that you will bring me back and tell me whatever, I don't know what else, you need from me. Other than, yeah, just to me, it's
I don't know that you wrote for that, with basement.
yeah,
Again, already reiterated that your roof is 35 years old. You happen to know if you have a 60 amp or 100 amp breaker service? You have a breaker box on the wall?
I have a breaker box,
This
Yeah.
tall?
Yeah.
It's not that tall. Not even.
that's like this.
By the way, you can get that replaced for free by the state of Vermont right now to a 200 amp service. Just what you. Your plumbing is original,
Yeah,
house was built in 1963. Are there any difficulties with the plumbing?
yeah, always. There are just some things that don't work. Out of 10 meters off. You know what I mean? And there's just, there's some outlets that are. Yeah, I mean, it's basically you need the bathtub works and the toilet one, those toilets work and. I mean, there's water coming in, yeah. It's just that I've had the kitchen sink. Faucet replaced a couple of times once anyways, so. I mean, it's just, the piping is old.
Yes.
It's not easy, but then when you look down there, it's copper or whatever it is, and it's, it's, a couple of, in the winter time, I've had a couple of long pipes. And so some of the walls and, the stairs are ripped out to be totally exposed. This was the reason that you have to go down there and, you know what I mean? I might run a small electric heater off the dryer or something. Sometimes just pointing it towards the pipes that run to the bathroom. When it's below zero, just so that they freeze for like. We run water constantly. It's just, yeah,
Have it direct.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she's an old girl, but she's already. It's just that I know that, and my son was a builder. So, I mean, occasionally he does, do some weird things like he's jacked the deck. His sister did or weird things like that. But I mean, he said, it's just not worth it because of that amount of money. I'm just gonna give you that amount of money. And I said, so if I die, do you want it? He said, no. It's like, what can I say? Probably if I would probably fix it up enough to get rid of it. So what can I say? But other than that, no. So when I just think of the area that I'm in too, and then that strange area, that people,
We've already had a discussion. About
Yeah.
it.
I'm sure there's lots of discussions about it. Yeah, it's just,
Some of you need to get to go, and
usually,
presentation to the select board or something.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work, believe me. When I first moved here,
Yeah.
I moved into the house that I was being chased and attacked. My own yard by pit bulls. It took 2 years, me and Donnie, to solve all that crazy problems. It's, and every time that I would ask the neighbors if they wanted to like come to a select board meeting,
Oh.
and do anything about it, no one wanted to deal with them because they're always afraid.
Yeah.
Of the repercussions that they're gonna get in the neighborhood. So
Yeah, that's wrong.
yeah, I mean, even back then, back then, the boys were younger and stuff, but it's just,
That's not right.
no, I mean, it was like everybody in the neighborhood was being constantly robbed. And stuff, but it was just like, you couldn't get anybody to do anything. There's not gonna change it. I mean, I've been here for 20. Yeah.
So the issues.
Yeah.
I have a select board some years, will not necessarily get the same reaction. from the current select board.
Yeah.
Right, because it does change and the people on it. Their reaction to the.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Just because it hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just finding the right people to do it, and then most of all the people that are down there are somehow all related, so they don't really wanna. Even if they do have a problem, they don't wanna like do anything about it, so, it's just, I don't know. I mean, cause my last neighbors, that's the reason that they moved. Because they just couldn't take the junkyard crap anymore, or the constant hurting stuff. Or whatever was going on. So I basically just let myself become immune to it.
I mean, other people won't, won't. They won't go through their phase on a stay there, people have to go through the same thing, and so it's. So it's better for everybody if something can change, but I know where it's not an easy process by any stretch. You can find somebody that's interested, it's gonna be, it'll be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. I mean, in order to make your home and everybody else's home livable. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll check it out, but it's just like last time I spent so much energy about the dogs. I bet even when I did end up in the courtroom with a judge and stuff. I mean, I gathered that they got fined and they lost the dog that was coerced out or something. But it was just like, it took 2 years.
Yeah.
And you get there and then you're expecting, like, one time people said that they were gonna come and they were gonna tell you. And the only people that are in the courtroom, even with the state police side of it, This is me, it was me and Donna. Here we are. You know, you find out, oh, yeah. Thank you, and thanks for listening to me, so. Whatever happens,
So we would take the information, if there were any changes, you would get a notice within a week or 2 weeks. To find out if you still want to do with the. Take it to the. Need to let them know within 2 weeks.
sorry.
If he's eating to the after dinner, he's still under, but you can take it to the states. It's you have options, it's not.
It's not a setting.
It's not. That we have, that we feel appropriate, but.
Look, everything's going up, and I understand that, but it's just. In this area, you know, there's a lot of older people of my age too, still in this district, that live on just basically, you know, social security. Yes. Yeah.
It's, yeah, my guess is they're gonna go, but that's because of the, you know, the education.
Yeah.
Taxes. 80% of your tax bill.
Yeah.
Give or take. Because of value is what you want to have everybody.
Yeah.
You know, fear is that, you know, if you're gonna get value, so that you're paying.
Yeah. Yeah, so I understand that.
It's not the battle.
All right, we'll have a good day, Carolyn.
This is the Brookline grievances on Thursday, May 15th, and this, it's about 5 to 3. I'm Helen Holt, one of the listers. That's Alyssa Schmidt, another lister, and that is Al Coonrod, and he is from Nemrick. And we are here with Thomas Stats. And what can we do for you today?
I'm Helen, that's Alyssa, this is Al. Nice to meet you.
I specifically, it was on 181 Whitney Hill Road. Which I think I hit the number, I don't remember the fact. But, that house, I bought it, not too long ago. And it was listed for 141,000, I think before. I bought it for 100,000 because of the disrepair. And I thought maybe since we were getting reappraised, it'd be more a realistic appraisal of it. And then it came in at 228,000, I believe. And if you were to actually go in and look at that house or see what it was all about, it's one is listed on 4 acres. It's actually 2 acres.
We sent that to the map. Right, we sent the deed to the map. I don't know why it was said 4 acres, but.
Okay, and the other thing is, you know, it's sitting on wooden piers, on cement blocks that are on the way out. The inside of it, there was a woman who just passed away the other day that lived there, and so I mean anybody's welcome to go in there and just see what the house is like, but it sure is not worth 228,000. And if it is, that's not for that long.
I was there August 27th, and there's nobody there, not one around, and the note that property in need of attention. I put it in there, it's 2 grades below average for the year built. It's appreciated 47%. There's a serve and then slowly, and I'm gonna miss somebody, you know.
Vinyl siding on it, all the wiring runs on the outside of it, and so it's not, it's not a really a livable house. She was living in it when I bought it, and she wanted it. Abuts my property was my reasoning for buying it, and just for my protection. But as far as the structure goes, there's not much there. So.
One bathroom in the house.
Yes.
It's on slab, and you said it's on piers.
No, it's not on the slab. It's on pressure treated. Well, there's actually telephone poles on cement blocks. And it's, you know, you can get underneath there, it's dirt underneath there, it's dug out a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the other property, but it's in a different name. So we.
The other property, myself and my wife Joanna.
Right, right. And so because it's, two different parcels and different names, then we can't combine, if they were the same name,
Yeah.
then they would be contiguous, that would.
Right, I was told it could be. My wife is in the process of leaving me right now. She's got cancer and she's not leaving at all. So when I purchased this property, I just purchased it my own.
Right, right. And so the reason I mentioned it is if they were, the two parcels were contiguous and under the same name, then the land value itself would go down, because it would be a larger parcel. And so that would drop the value of it.
So in order to get contiguous, I would have to get Joanne off mine or on.
Yeah, something to think about.
But as it stands right now, even if it stands on its own, if I was turn around and sell it, you honestly think I could get 228,000 for it, I would sell it tomorrow.
Right, so when we, rent the land value, it will drop it by $6,600 from the eight that's at now, for the 4 acres, it will only be 2.5 acres, and that'll be that 77.2. And then 25 of the value is for the water and septic, so it's not all for the house
Right.
itself. And then, 3700 for upgrades.
So once you take all of that, what do you have the building valued at? I mean, if it's sort of valued at 141,000,
Right, so then,
and so.
yeah, so the structure itself is valued at 115.
I mean, I welcome somebody to go in the house. Now, or look at the structure, I mean, if you look at the structure from the outside, that's probably a little different story than actually what the house. Yeah, that's why I left the card on the house. We hope to. You pick up the card, you look at the data, and it's online, and the whole thing, and then, I can do the numbers here and say, for the inspection done, nobody was inside, or somebody come inside. You know, I thought it would form a much different opinion of the condition of the house based on what you're telling me. The inside is like, I mean, the outside of the structure is fine, it needs, the whole way out. Right. Needs a little TLC, but, you know, the inside is that war. It's not livable. And it stinks, and like animals and. It's either a complete gut or a tear down at this point.
Right. And so what we have bedrooms, 1,214 square feet, roughly, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath and 1 kitchen.
I guess you could consider one of the bathrooms, one of them a bedroom. There's a big room on the end, which you once used for a bedroom that has a wood stove in it. And then a living room, kitchen, there's a small little space. Would be an office, a little bedroom. I'm sure, I think it was used as a bedroom, I'm not,
Right.
years before.
It doesn't change the value of it at all. It's just the value based on the square footage, which is not really the same for, right?
It's kind of, I bought it with her in there and with everything just the way it was. And with the idea she could stay there until she died. So it's Helen?
Yeah.
Were you ready to stand?
Yes, he was my uncle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you know?
So does anybody, is anybody in the big house up there?
Well, somebody lives there. Somebody, an S corporation, which is basically all my cousins, my generation, and then the next generation coming in also.
Okay.
So it's deferred maintenance. But yeah.
But that's gonna stay.
Yeah, we're doing our best to try and keep it in our place. Slowly, I just want to and it's like that in the barn.
Barn, I think I like that.
Yeah, that's deferred maintenance too. Yeah, one of my cousins was on the 3rd floor and that was the tractor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, luckily he jumped out of it, it's fine, but It's terrifying. You know, they did help with the Christmas trees and the hay and the fields and stuff.
Yeah, well, I used to get Christmas trees,
Yeah,
and I was just trying to get one. I didn't do any work up there, but.
I'm like, Marge is like, it's still there. It's
Still in the home?
She is, and her daughter Connie, my cousin is living with her there to help her. It's a challenge, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, my that's right at almost 99, and she's still living in her house. Yes. Yeah, I'm pushing her for one more year, but she won't do it.
Yeah, we have Peter Jackson over there, Valley Village.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's around.
So we're gonna go from here.
That's the bottom line, which basically.
There will be some adjustments made to those properties, water travel. And you will receive notification then a week, no mail, about the new value. If you still feel the new value is out of line, you can sign up for an board setting authority hearing. They will review all the information that you give them. And they will also schedule a site visit. You know, 3 members will come and actually go into your property and then render a determination based on their.
So you're not interested in seeing it at this point.
If you had come in during informational hearings a couple weeks ago, I would have run out and looked. Today is a formal grievance. Pretty much we're not even supposed to be having this discourse. We just listen to what you have to say, make a decision after you leave, and then send you something in writing, either accepted or denied. Obviously, you're gonna get a change based on the fact that we've researched these guys. Either instance, numerous drives, so you can lower from 4 acres down to 2.5. There are other changes that significantly.
And then just ahead, you know, I'm not disputing one based on what everybody else is on my on 153. But I was just wondering how that all comes about. I think it's crazy in the state of Vermont. Dishwashers and auctioneers and bed makers and all living $750,000 house. That's the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what the market, that's where the market is.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
It is, it's incredible. Because everything in the system and the way the values were was from 2008 values, and nothing has changed since. Then any, you know, when we try to bring everything up to fair market value, everybody's is gonna change. And some more than others, of course, it depends on how far out of whack it was before. And so that varies, it doesn't necessarily mean the taxes will go up.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And he said, you know, the guess is, of course, they'll go up because the education tax keeps, you know, going up, and that's such a huge percentage. But the reappraisal will not necessarily affect how your taxes go, depending upon how much it is changed.
It does on the state level, if every town isn't afraid at the same time, so I could see.
Right, so that's what the state is trying to get to, is that's why they've decided that everybody be replaced at least once every 6 years. It used to be, you know, and the problem is there were not enough companies to do that many. You know, reappraisals within 6 years.
Every 10 years, unless the CLA was out of the line.
And then they changed it to the COD instead of the CLA.
Well, they both come into play.
Right, they do, and yeah, that is the measurement, but it's still, because all that is based on what it's sales and the best way to do it is to find, you know, is to do a reappraisal, to get everybody back. And it'll slowly go out of whack, but hopefully not as bad.
Yeah.
Well, COVID really drove it nuts.
It exacerbated the problem. I mean,
I'm working on them with business people, my mother is in the real estate law. She said like that people come in and with cash bonds. That's $100,000 over actually, right?
I saw that when.
Yeah.
really?
Some of Steve works in the Dover office over there in people, it's just like. And, you know, interest rates don't affect the people because they're not. Going to the bank. Well, it's a seller's market.
Yeah, it is.
Little Baltimore, the one up the road here. We're in Baltimore, right? It's, every says we're Springfield and Chester and what. Oh, alongside Oxman, you can't. What's the population of Baltimore? What do you eat here and then you get 300? Since my wife and I left and I sold my house for one new place. That's 220. Well, it's a shame that, you know, like I grew up here and I built my house.
Yeah.
When I was 24 years old, bought my land, built my house, been here my whole life, and it's like, can I even afford to live in the house I built?
But it's, yeah.
But it's been 18 years. Yeah. I sat 2 terms on the select board here. You know, we went through trying to get reappraisal, get money for reappraisal. It's not a cheap thing.
But no, it's not. It's not a cheap things.
You know, they were trying to go through any kind of pencil whip ball, everybody bring everybody up a certain percentage, but that was really few things.
Yeah, that's not necessarily the best way to go.
Right, right.
Yeah, so we're doing the best we can to get everything.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Gary. Are you in Brookline?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Next to Dick and Marsha.
Okay.
Maybe Hill Road.
Who used to live in? Did you buy this?
2017. Who used to live there? It was like the guy. Weird. Everyone knows him. I guess he's like real weirdo. So I don't. People were like, oh God, man, I know that guy. It'll be a and people are saying.
Everybody knew.
He was with a couple and they got the divorce. It was a foreclosure when I got it. Brew had a Sally or Brew had a.
Oh, yeah, Berta.
Well, something.
Yeah, I remember Berta.
I think it's changed a lot.
Happy for Martha and Dick's driveway is?
Yeah. Yeah, like on the power lines.
Oh, okay.
Like the boom was behind us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that.
Right across from the 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nineties are different as well.
Yeah. We know. You can get rental.
No, I imagine. So as far as 153, can you just give me a little heads up on how I can see the numbers, but how it looked to you guys? I'm pretty sure I did much more. The acreage was right on. 8.6 yards. A little better than average on construction. Obviously, I don't need to show you pictures of your house. I just can't run the roof. Couple of dormers. Average condition for a 39-year-old construction. 2 full baths in the house, is that correct? Full bath, one's a bath, one's a shower, that's a full. That's considered a 3 fixture. Yeah. Yeah, that's a full bath. Heating system is forced on air. I'm asking these questions because I did not get the square footage, 1768 for the 2 floors, is that correct? Yeah. We have rec room finished in the basement, about a third of it. don't see anything else that stands out. Anything else, just that, if you want to compare. You can look.
No, I mean, I look through this, I see other properties I know, I think I think you were pretty right on as far as comparatively. Looking at it, it's just shocking to see everybody.
Right,
go.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no complaints, I'd say my property compared to everybody else's is very.
But you do have issues with this other property, back to the other property, two quick questions. It's not supposed to be questioning the answer, but we'll do it. The furnace. Your original property. Is it the original furnace?
There is no furnace in there, the mice wrecked it, and so there's a pellet stove. And a little Renai heater, in there, so there's no furnace in there.
Oh. Maybe that we would have noted.
Yeah.
Well, you might have seen the furnace, you know, there's ducts in the ceiling, but it's been inoperable. Since the question, as long as I know.
Uh-huh.
And the electric service, is it 60 amp or 100 amp, you know?
I think it's a 60-amp breaker in there.
Regular breaker?
No, there's a box in there. There's
Regular breaker.
No, there's a driven well, and then there's a pressure tank outside there, in a little shack underground.
Mhm.
So
So you no longer have four-spot air heat in that tear down. It's space heating.
yeah, there's a space heater in the bedroom and a pellet stove in the living room. And there's a wood stove in the bedroom.
Like on smaller scale, people. Wood heat is great, but it's not gonna do a whole world of good if you decide to go to Florida for 2 weeks.
No. Now my daughter, I found that out. My daughter got married went to El Salvador, got married. In January. Walking every pipe with all the kitchen, the bathroom, everything was busted. She had a well heat, but nobody seems to care. She usually eats good wood, but then she turned on the well heat, but didn't think how much was in the tank. Everybody's tank down in there.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Insurance all paid for the repairs.
No, I didn't.
So lucky to have you. It's at the house up there, this is the. I went up there one day during the winter time, and water was pouring down the living room. It was just one of the pipes that busted. It's like, what happened? I just need to pour it out, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
That house pretty much all original insides too, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's what we call deferred maintenance, and
Right.
they used to call him half-assed Dan because he was doing the maintenance on it, and he did as much as he could and what he could, but it probably could have used more.
Well, for maintenance or realtor would call it something different, and have something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys up there. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.